Hello everyone, let me start off this video by introducing myself. My name is Marlinda van der Vos, I'm 24 years old, I'm Dutch, currently in Hungary. Last December, Dutch agents called me the #1 state danger of the Netherlands. A few weeks ago, Europol agents called me the #1 threat for democracy worldwide. What has happened to me in the past year is beyond comprehension. I record this video in the hope that I can get this story out in the world. I'm actually a writer. I just wrote my first book about what has happened to me. It's published in Dutch, Verhalen uit de eendimensionale faculteit, but I'll make an English translation as stories from the one-dimensional faculty. Making videos is not really my thing, but I don't really have another choice right now because this story needs to come out. I know I'm lispering, I can't do much about it. I've written out the text of this video so that I know what to tell you. That's why I might not be looking directly into the camera, but at my laptop, which is here. My hair looks awful too. There should also be subtitles. If you find it annoying to listen to me, I'll try to find someone to make subtitles for this video. The media will probably not report on this, at least the Dutch media won't, but fortunately X is the platform of free speech. Good, I'll begin. Please bear with me. So, I studied in the Netherlands at the Free University in Amsterdam, VU University. I studied Dutch literature, philosophy, history, and religious studies. At the university, I was a student member of the faculty board of the Faculty of Humanities. On August 29, 2023, was my last meeting as a student member. After the meeting, the dean admitted to 2 other administrators that she hacked my iCloud, along with some other stuff. In my iCloud was a folder of passwords in the notes, so she was able to access just about every account I own. This hack was the aftermath of a board year in which I was frequently ridiculed for my appearance and views. After all, I firstly stand for Dutch as an academic language in higher education, so it is somewhere quite ironic that I'm now recording this video in English. Anyway, in April 2023, I wrote a letter to the faculty board calling them one-dimensional, free after German philosopher Herbert Marcuse, whose philosophy I used to say that universities basically function as a big business, where students are the products and students need to graduate as soon as possible without developing critical thinking skills. I was really shocked when I heard what the dean had done, and I went home stressed after I heard that. And about a week went by. I talked to a roommate who told me to go to the police. So about a week after this incident, I went there. I had to gather evidence, the police said, because based on just the story, they couldn't start an investigation. I'm pretty pissed they didn't help me then. I stood there crying and hyperventilating, and they did nothing to calm me down. Anyway, so I kept going to the university to make recordings and talk to people in the hope that someone would admit what had happened, or at least so I would have a recording that would be a lead for an investigation. Meanwhile, I was under tremendous stress. I couldn't eat anymore. I started smoking about a package of cigarettes a day to deal with the stress. I lost an enormous amount of weight those weeks. At some point in September, I found that 2 men had been placed in the room next to me by the university. They taped me, broke into my room, and crashed my laptop. My neighbor was president of the university student council and relinquished his room to those 2 guys. I received no visitors at home during that month of September. In any case, I had few visitors at all. I was at university 5 to 6 days a week. I had an employment contract for 3 days a week, a board position, and I was doing 4 studies. So my whole social life took place there, and after this incident, I lost all of that. On September 30, 2023, my ex-boyfriend came over to support me. I was going through a tremendous amount, and I was crying. I was suffering from suicidal thoughts. I always loved the university, and I felt hugely betrayed by them. Besides, it's also very embarrassing when your entire iCloud is accessed. Perhaps the worst part is that they accessed about 100 pages of diary entries I wrote in Word, in which I write about the boy I like, Hasib. So I was crying, my ex-boyfriend tried to calm me down, then he asked my opinion on Dutch politics. After all, we had parliamentary elections in the Netherlands at the end of November 2023. I said I was going to predict the elections in my crystal ball, which of course does not exist. Nevertheless, I correctly predicted 148 out of 150 seats. As it turned out afterwards, I joked to my ex-boyfriend that we could send the results to all newspapers because we had already predicted them. Of course we didn't, it was just a joke at the time. My ex-boyfriend went home. In the evening I called the police. They came over and listened to my story. However, I knew the university recorded me in my room, and as it turned out later, also in the common kitchen and on the common balcony of the student complex where I live. So I was afraid of repercussion from the university. Then I fled to Hungary with only my phone because my laptop had crashed. I only took a backpack, and while I was there, I knew I had to find contact with the Dutch authorities. After all, I was a victim of a very serious privacy violation. I could not reach the police from Hungary, but I could reach the control room of the Dutch General Intelligence and Security Service. I called them in early October. I spent almost 40 minutes on the phone with an officer and I was taken very seriously. I was happy to be in Hungary. My whole family lives here. I'm half Hungarian. I had many private conversations with family and acquaintances about the whole situation. I have a cat, Chico, that I had to leave behind in Holland when I fled to Hungary, and I had to go back to pick him up from the person who had taken him in. I left him outside of my dorm room when I fled. In addition, last year would also have been my last year of study, and even after what happened, I very much wanted to finish my studies. So I returned on Monday, October 16, 2023. On Tuesday, October 17, I went to the faculty and listened to their meeting outside of the conference room they were in. I heard several things there. Two things are important. One is that they followed me with Pegasus spyware. Since I went to Budapest by bus from Amsterdam, I was recorded in the Netherlands, Germany, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Hungary by the university. They refer to a conversation I had with a fellow passenger at the bus station in the Czech Republic and private conversations I had with my family in Budapest. The second thing is that they all read my notes in which I wrote about Hasib. Someone from the faculty turned out to know him and to meet with him. Hasib and I always had a difficult relationship. We'd broken up in June 2023. I had blocked him and deleted his number, but I wanted him back. I've written him several love letters over the past few years. I've known him since I was 17. The last one, which I wrote in mid-September, was still in my notebook. So I added a paragraph noting my new Hungarian phone number. I bought a new phone in Hungary, and I wrote that I missed him and that I wanted him back. I then went to his house. He wasn't home, but I put a letter in his mailbox, hoping he would contact me using my new number. When I overheard that faculty meeting, I heard that Hasib and his staff member were going to meet that Saturday around 7 o'clock. So between Wednesday and Saturday, I was extremely nervous, but once again I went to his house hoping to speak to him. This time he answered the door. I was bloody nervous to see him. We had not seen each other for over 4 months, and he asked if I had already reported to the police what had happened at the university, because I also wrote about that in the letter. I said no, but that I had called the intelligence service from Hungary. He said that they are probably already working on this then, and that I was probably being tapped at this very moment. Then he said that he himself is an agent in the Secret Service, something which he had never told me, and that he would solve this for me. Then he said he really shouldn't tell me that and asked me to marry him, but I was so confused because he told me that he was in Secret Service. I was also very sad that he was going to meet with the staff member, that I declined, I refused, and he took me to the station, and yeah, I was just crying for days. Last time I saw him was early November 2023. We met at a pizzeria in Amsterdam West. It was a takeout kind of place. There was no one else there until suddenly 4 people walked in. Hasib told me not to look because he said these are people from the public prosecutor's office. Later I learned they were from the CID, which is like the Dutch CIA. He also said that he had been in the office of the Dutch Minister of Justice and Security, Dylan Jesselgus. He said that she had read my notes, had also talked about this with other politicians, had shared them, and that she had heard the recording of all I had said in my room on September 30, 2023, and that I should write her a letter of apology because she was offended by the things I had said. So I refused to do this. Mind you, I said these things in my own room. Hasib said that it would be better, but my privacy had already been violated so badly, and with that I'm not gonna apologize for things I say in my own room. Hasib said that it would all get out of hand and that we would be better off going to South America together. He also said that he was now involved in the investigation and that we were not allowed to have contact privately, but that eventually he would want to continue with me. He also asked me if I had a crystal ball because I had predicted that election result, although at that time we did not know my prediction was correct, but of course I denied. Again, guys, there's no such thing as a crystal ball. So the worst thing he said, and which is also the reason I didn't write the letter, I didn't write this down in the book because I wanted to spare her, but he said that this minister, this Dylan, jerked him off at her office when he visited her. And I mean, I was shocked when I heard that. Good, like that's that. Those following weeks I tried to continue my studies anyway, but it all became very hard. Meanwhile, at the end of November were the parliamentary elections, and it turned out that the Freedom Party had won with flying colors, which I had thus predicted. So that's why people probably started panicking. I decided in early December to go to Belgium for a night, to Leuven, where I could hopefully unwind a bit. There I was followed by agents. Early in the morning they stood in front of my hotel room, exchanging state-sensitive information with each other. Penalty demands had already been announced for some of those involved at the university. They also said that Hasib would be declared an outlaw, whatever that means, that I should be given torture corridor, and I later learned that this is a severe psychological interrogation lasting 1 week, although they never gave it to me, and that I am currently the #1 state danger. There were 2 officers, and the head of the Dutch police, Henk van Essen, was also present. The 2 officers were talking, and Henk was in his hotel room. They had followed me the previous night when I went out for dinner and to a bar to have a drink. One thing I heard that I'll bring out here is that a large part of the Dutch parliament, but also people in the public sector, are being secretly recorded. They refer to the fact that they heard a bedroom recording of, out of all people, that Minister of Justice, and those 2 agents were kind of lusting after her. They were talking about that recording, and it was terrible. I mean, your phone is basically just a microphone, and almost everyone sleeps with their phone in their bedroom because almost everyone uses their phone as an alarm clock. So this is a massive violation of privacy, and it's unclear for how long they've been doing this. The agents also said that there was already contact with the Council of Europe and that they wanted to introduce a temporary special tapping law to tap a large part of the Netherlands to see to what extent my private had already been dispersed, because the contents of my iCloud have gone throughout the university and presumably leaked beyond. I'm strongly against this because I don't think people should be tapped just like that. The prosecution should have simply taken these people into custody immediately, but they didn't because these are supposedly important people and the legal system apparently only applies to normal people. They also said that now, because I bought a new phone in Hungary, the public prosecutor's office had put Pegasus spyware on my new phone. Good, I'll continue. In mid-December, I had to go to the office of the professor I was assisting as a student assistant. She kind of trapped me because she was aware of all that the university had done. That's where I got very angry. I knew I was on tap, so I said that I would bring out the state secrets I heard in Leuven if Hasib was outlawed. I also said that I knew what Dylan had done and that she really had a very big problem with me. I also talked about the Secret Service's covered recording of people in the public and political sectors, and the bedroom recording. Good. During Christmas time, I went to Hungary again. In January, I came back. At the end of January was the political congress of the VVD, which is the Liberal Party of the Netherlands and the party of which Dylan is president. I was eager to speak to her about the situation. You could have your picture taken with her. So I stood in line to have my picture taken with her. I stood next to her and said, "I know who you really are." I said, "Are we doing another crazy picture?" And I made some hand motions, so she knew I knew what she had done in the office. I walked away, she came after me. We stood talking for a while. She said she had listened to an old recording of me and Hessie from April 2023, in which we shared a bed together. She also said that she knows I know what happened in her office, that it was a mistake and that it just happened. Also, she said that the military intelligence and security service, mind you, the military, put up cameras in my dorm room and that I'm constantly being watched and tracked. Great. So I walked around that convention, ate a sandwich, drank a beer, looked around, and at one point I came into a hallway where 2 security guards were standing. One said in his earpiece that I was there. They were in contact with former Prime Minister Mark Rutte. Dylan was there and some more people from the VVD. We stood there talking through security for over half an hour. Obviously, I was angry with Dylan. Dylan asked how it was possible that I'd been able to predict the outcome of the parliamentary elections and whether I had a crystal ball, because I had predicted the future. Not just the result of the elections, but a number of other smaller things too. I said that I don't have a crystal ball, but that I can predict the future, and that I also don't know how it can be, that it feels like there's a divine force assisting me in this. And I explained what I feel physically when I make a prediction. And the politicians began to laugh and said that I should then now predict the future once again if I can really do it. So that's what I did. They asked if I can predict elections, who would win the US presidential election. I said the Republicans were going to win if the Democrats wouldn't cheat, and that the Republicans would do everything they can to prevent the Democrats from cheating. Then I said something like, "I'll tell you the story of how the American election will go." So I knew a lot of things. Already in January, I knew that Biden would ruin his debate with Trump, that he would be replaced by Harris, but most of all, I knew that there would be an assassination attempt on President Trump. I said the shooter's name would be something like Thomas or Matthew or Crook, something like that. I knew he was going to be on the roof near the president. I also said then that BlackRock was probably behind this. I described this entire photo of him with his fist in the air. I told the politicians that the attack on Trump would be an inside job. I said they probably would not believe me now, mind you, this was last January, but that I would be predicting more things in the coming months. I told them that they should ask Eric Akerboom, the head of the Dutch intelligence agency, to call the US intelligence agency to make sure the roof during his rally would be properly secured. I said the attack would take place on July 13 or 20, and it would either be in Pennsylvania or Wisconsin, although I was not very sure of the state. On July 12, when I was at the members meeting of the Dutch New Social Contract Party in Amsterdam, I heard Nicolien van Vroonhoven confirm that Erik Akerboom indeed made that call and spoke with the US for about 25 minutes. Sounds really bizarre, I know. When at the Congress of the VVD, I also predicted that in late July or early August there would be a knife attack in the United Kingdom at a Taylor Swift themed dance class, and 3 young girls would be killed. I said it would probably be a dance class for children between 5 to 10 years old. I saw the photo in front of me of the 3 girls that was distributed after the attack. I didn't think there would be any injuries. I didn't see it at the time. I said the attack would take place in Southbridge, and the Prime Minister said Southbridge does not exist. And then I said maybe it's Southport, it's something with South. It turned out it was Southport. Also, I told the politicians to take all their shares out of the market on July 31, because on August 5 the Nasdaq would drop 1,000 points intraday and they would have to buy back their shares August 5 at the end of the day. like just to be nice. So I told them then that the British intelligence services should be contacted because I had enough info about the Dom's clause to have it prevented. I said that the attacker would be a young black boy, probably from Sudan or Rwanda, a Christian, who would commit this attack. And if the intelligence service had put a few agents there, that attack could have been prevented. I already said that Starmer would probably become prime minister, and that he's a communist who probably wouldn't do anything about it. So I told Mark and Dylan that we could also send agents there ourselves. I already said that after this attack, riots would break out in the UK and Starmer would go and censor people online. So on July 12th, Nicolie van Vroonhoven said that Dick Schoof had contacted Starmer about my prediction. So the United Kingdom knife attack was after the assassination attempt on Trump. Starmer knew about this attack and could have prevented it. Good, so I got away from that Congress. I still tried to go to college, finish my studies, because I did not know what else to do. In February, a prof told me to commit suicide. She said something along the lines of, why don't you commit suicide if you want attention so badly? You can just jump down here, but don't do it from this floor, because you will survive. I was in shock, cried for 3 days, and didn't go to university from then on. Anyway, so all this time, I was being filmed in my room, digitally monitored and physically followed by agents everywhere I went. Needless to say, I am innocent. I went to the supermarket, the gym, the movie theater, sometimes just having a coffee somewhere and whatnot, but I'm not a criminal. Meanwhile, I missed Hesip immensely, and I didn't quite understand why he didn't contact me, but he was probably not allowed to. In early March, I wrote him another love letter, which I also included in the book, and I was so fed up with being followed by agents that I went to Ukraine, to Rivne for a week. I won't detail everything I saw and did there. I stayed mostly in my hotel, I wrote a lot. While on the bus near Lviv, I had another vision and predicted the attack on the city hall in Moscow. I thought there would be 3 shooters. I knew almost the exact time of the attack. I said it's Friday around 8:30 p.m. and I said the 3 shooters are from Tajikistan. I think it turned out that there were 4. Good. I had been to Hungary after I came back from Ukraine, and then I went to Holland, and I thought that people would talk to me by now. In the process, I didn't really know what to do. Well, I could have reported it, but I knew the investigation was going on because I had called the intelligence services. Hesip and Dylan and the agents in Leuven confirmed it. So I didn't see the practical point of that. They made this whole investigation about me while I'm innocent, and the university, but also the politicians, are just getting away with everything they've done. So my birthday is on June 14, and leading up to my birthday, I realized that I probably wasn't going to be spoken. I'm quite naive. I thought maybe the investigation would go on a little longer. I thought, we live in a decent country. I thought we live in a decent country ruled by law. So eventually these people would be captured, right? So on June 13, 2024, I went to the police station in my hometown Hoofddorp to schedule a report. When I walked in, there were 3 officers behind the counter. One immediately recognized me as Merlinda van der Vos, wanted a picture with me, which was a bit awkward, and asked what I came to do. I said, that I came to schedule a report because I had not been spoken to date. And she said that the situation had gotten completely out of hand and that they wanted to assassinate me this summer in Montenegro. I was supposed to go there this summer with my Hungarian family on holiday. I asked what she meant, why it got out of hand, and why they wanted to kill me, since they had not even spoken to me. She said that Hasib had come to my house in May with a getaway car to go to Hungary, but that I didn't open the door and that he was imprisoned for a week after that. So I asked, who's behind the assassination attempt? And she said, who do you think? Then I said, what should I do now? And she said, there's an American businessman who's paying lawyers for you to handle the case. She said, I know too much, and this case has already been disclosed to the International Crime Court, and that is why they want to kill me. She said that there's a file of 2 fists thick at the Dutch public prosecutor's office, but that too many important people are involved. She also said that it was thought that I had made recordings of politicians, because I know so many things about what they've been saying over the past few months, the year almost by now, but obviously I don't have recordings, but I just heard things from the agents who were following me, who are almost always there with at least 2, and because I'm not dangerous, I suppose they just talk about my case near me and I can overhear them. I said to the agent, do I still have to write letters now, apologize, how do I solve this? And the agent said I could try. She said, I also knew who was behind this assassination attempt, and that's the man who is now Prime Minister of the Netherlands. His name is Dick Schoof. His nickname is the Laughing Murderer, and he has had a career as head of several intelligence agencies. He was elected Prime Minister by the group chairman of the coalition parties. Even though he has 0 political experience, is not affiliated with any political party, and therefore had 0 votes from the electorate. So, in the weeks that followed, I wrote letters to the group chairman of the coalition parties, also to the king, Holland being a monarchy, begging him not to swear Dick Schoof in on July 2. Not knowing what else to do, I filed a report on July 2. I scheduled that when I went to the police station in June. This report was recorded, but the police refused to investigate further because obviously they had already done the investigation. On July 15, I sent in a letter of complaint, which was also refused. The Dutch state is trying to shove this under the table and either declare me crazy or make me die, either by suicide or by killing me, because they do not want to admit to what they've done. On July 12th, I went to the members' meeting of the New Social Contract Party in Amsterdam, where Nicolien van Vroonhoven said that Pieter Omtzigt had taken €1 million and that I myself had gone too far. She said, look at her standing there, smiling. They want to finish her off this summer. She made it herself. Like I don't even know her. It is a kind of totalitarian mass formation that has taken place against me. On July 15, I went to Budapest again. So now I'm in Hungary. I wrote a book. The ebook came out this week in Dutch. I'll have to go back to the country to check whether the sample copy of the paper book is right, but I'm pretty scared. So this is the last thing that happened that I will tell you. On September 5, I was sitting on the terrace in Budapest, near the Danube, drinking a beer, when four older men came and sat at the table next to me and asked how I was doing, which at first I found a bit odd. I asked where they were from, and they said we are from Europol. Europol is a European anti-crime organization. I asked what they had come to do, and they said they were worried about me. I then asked who's worried about me, my corrupt government, and they said that almost everybody was concerned except the corrupt Dutch government. There was a German, a Polish, an Italian, and a Dutch agent, and I'd like to give a shout out to Teun, if that's his real name, because he verified that the politicians of the coalition parties in the Netherlands took the following amounts of money. Dylan Jesselgus took 2.5 million euros, Pieter Omtzigt took 1 million euros, Caroline van der Plas took 750,000 euros, and Geert Wilders took 400,000 euros. Although I thought I heard they were whispering that Geert gave the money back, but I'm not sure about that. The other agents became mad at Teun when he verified those amounts to me, and they were then whispering a little bit. The German agent told me that they were forced to take the money, but they were allowed to negotiate the amount, Teun said, so that means they were not forced. They rather take money for their own gain instead of giving me a fair trial, because they know that they have violated the law massively by what they've been doing for almost the past year, for almost a full year now, and they do not want to be persecuted. I don't know where this money came from. Perhaps from the state treasury, I have no clue. Alright, so the Europol agents said people were impressed that I had predicted the July 13 assassination attempt on President Trump. I said I was naive in January when talking to the VVD politicians, because I said that it would not stop at one attempt, but that they were going to try again. Then I had another vision, saying that a guy named Ryan would do another attempt within 3 weeks. I spelled his surname Routh. I knew that he was either born in Hawaii or would be living there, that he had tried to recruit military personnel to fight in Ukraine. I even knew that he had like the half blue hair in the past. I told the Europol agents to alert America again, or if they would not want to do that, alert Erik Akerboom and make him alert America again. Because I said it will probably happen within a time frame of 3 weeks, and he'll be lying in the bushes at President Trump's golf resort in Florida. I said that his security at the golf resort should check the bushes when he goes golfing. So, what's remarkable is that even in this second assassination attempt, the Secret Service did not intervene, because I said that Ruth is from Hawaii and that if he was going to Florida, and then Teun, the Dutch agent, said, or if he's already in Florida, he should be physically tracked to prevent him from lying in the bushes with a Kalashnikov. I said, I've predicted so many things. It's only for 3 weeks. I did not even know Ruth existed, never heard of him before. But my hypothesis is that Secret Service deliberately did not act upon my prediction. Because after I paid for my food and walked away, I could overhear that the agents from Europol immediately searched Ruth's Facebook page. Because we know what happened, like he went there. Unfortunately, Trump was saved again from this second assassination attempt. What I'm bringing out now is quite dangerous, but I feel like I have no other choice. There's evil in the world, actual evil, that wants to kill President Trump. And the scary thing is that these are not crazy individuals, but these are people who are in or behind the US Secret Service. There's people who want Trump to be assassinated. They want him dead, because both assassination attempts, they had info. The first time, I know Erik Akerboom called US Secret Service for sure, because van Vroonhoven said so. The second time I have it not verified, but they probably gave them the info of that recording too, because the agents were already looking at his Facebook page. So, why do they want to kill Trump? It's because they know he's a danger to the evil establishment. He cannot be controlled by them, and that's why they, whoever they may be, try to kill him. It is not lone shooters, deranged individuals. It's a setup, an inside job, a coup. Not only because I've predicted these attacks, but because twice American Secret Service knew about this and they did nothing. They did not secure the roof in Butler, and they did not follow Ruth. We need President Trump back in office for the peace and stability in the world. This election is not just about America, it's about the world. If you're American, please consider to vote for him. There's a reason evil's trying to kill him. There's a reason they don't want him in the Oval Office. And it's not because he's a threat for democracy or dangerous. Yes, he is a danger to the evil establishment, to the deep state. He will end the wars in the Middle East and Ukraine. And the deep state wants to keep the war machine going because it's a way for them to make money. They do not want peace in the world. They want him out. They want him out because he's fighting for the good cause. And that's the same reason that they are following me, trying to silence me, to kill me. Please help me bring out that Holland is ruled by corrupt politicians with a laughing murderer, Dick Schoof at head. Please help me bring out what VU University Amsterdam has done to me. Help me. Please help me to see Hasib again, because we're not allowed to see each other right now. And please share this video so that as many people as possible will know about this. After all, the traditional media will probably not report on this. Vote red if you have the chance, and stay safe, guys.